This plant is literally illegal to grow in Australia. And not because people smoke it or anything like that. It spreads like crazy, takes over everything, and is toxic to livestock. So they banned it outright. Depending on what state, you can, if your neighbour dobs you in, you can be fined anything between 3 and 50,000 Australian dollars. But the reasons why it was banned are actually proof that in a weed like Sicklepod, nature built something remarkable. I'm Dr. Wendy Seabrook, and what's honestly bizarre is that virtually every resource out there, from government fact sheets to gardening experts on YouTube, totally overlook the two critical things these plants, these pioneering weeds, actually do. You'll hear the same standard list of weed repairs. For example, they'll tell you how weeds fix nitrogen, how their deep taproots help decompact the soil and bring up nutrients. That treats these plants like a collection of random tools. A drill for the soil, a fertilizer tab for the nitrogen. But these weeds aren't just tools. Sicklepod is banned because it can completely dominate pastures and other disturbed areas. But if you look closer, that dominance isn't a glitch, it's a design feature. These pioneering weeds thrive where others fail. By quickly taking over wounded land, they make recovery possible. In a way, they do the heavy lifting. They perform two essential ecological processes that our crops and other desirable plants aren't strong enough to perform. We are literally criminalizing the cure for degraded land. The first thing that virtually nobody talks about is what these plants do with the sun. Every leaf is a solar panel, capturing energy that would otherwise be wasted hitting bare earth. Through photosynthesis, weeds, like any plant, convert solar energy into stored energy that fuels everything, including the life in our soil. When we spray or pull them out, we destroy the only mechanism we have to harvest that energy. Without these weeds, the land can't recover because there is simply no energy to drive the recovery. Our soil communities cannot fix wounded land with a zero energy budget, but neither can they without a nutritious diet. Imagine all the root exudates, all the sugars and proteins that these weeds are pumping down into the soil, together with their leaves and root tissues. It is this energy and this nutrition that forms the base of the soil food web. But look at what happens when we spray them. When the weeds die, the food supply completely vanishes. And this matters because that food sustains your soil's biological workforce. The diverse army of nutrient recyclers, miners, engineers that work 24/7 to repair your land. And that toxicity they talk about, that's the genius of the design. It's toxic to livestock, so it can't be grazed down before it finishes the job of healing the land. So whatever you're doing, in your garden, on your farm, ask yourself, am I being ecological?